Welcome to the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles, the original food service equipment repair podcast built by technicians for technicians. Whether you're on the front lines of repair, keeping the kitchen running smoothly, or just passionate about the food service repair industry, this podcast is your go-to source for expert insight, tech tips, and real stories from the field. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. I'm your host, Pat Finley. I'm joined by co-host Jason Latimer and special guest Cody Robinson. But first, here's a quick tip from our friends at Viper. In commercial kitchens, clean coils and evaporators are essential, and Viper's NSF registered products are the best choice. Safe, effective, and formulated to keep kitchen systems running smoothly. So what is going on? I thought we lost him for a second, but he's back. So we
did. It happened.
We have a very special guest, Cody Robinson. I've met Cody online. I'm not sure if we've met in person yet or not, but we run around the same circles online. He's involved in CFESA with the YPC, so Young Professional. Well, it used to be Young People's Committee, and I think now it's a Young Professional Committee, correct? Is that what it is?
Exactly. They had to make it more professional.
Yeah. I run into that occasionally, some things at CFESA, and it drives me nuts, but I understand why they have to do it. So I understand.
Yep.
So we run around on LinkedIn. We're all in the same area, same food service repair industry. But you work for a company, used to be called Kimco. And I know email changed a little bit. So we can get into that a little bit. But so where are you from and how old are you? And, what's your age and where are you from? Let's start there.
All right. So, I am 32. I live in Lounsboro, Alabama, which is why my connection is so fantastic. If you haven't heard of it, you'll probably never see it. It is truly a one caution light town. As far as fast food, we have a gas station. But it's amazing. We live out here. My wife, my two boys, we live out here with some of my wife's family on a little bit of land with a whole lot of animals. So people don't believe me until they get to know me a little more, is that I go to work for a break most of the time.
Anybody with kids should relate.
Kids are good to you.
It's not the kids. It's the animals.
It's everything else.
It's the difference, I guess. Okay.
So you've got a pretty cool path. I think you followed the same path as someone else we've had on the show. Nick Cribb kind of started off in the same role as you. I think started off as a dispatcher and then you just kind of worked your way up. So let's talk about that. How'd you find out about the dispatching role, and then what'd you do to just grow out of that and keep going?
So I've got a bit of a project management background from before I got into the industry. My brother-in-law was working at Kimco at the time, and he said, "Hey, we need some help." And I was, having a lot of issues at my last job, and so I was like, "Yeah, let's start something fresh." Kimco had a need for a dispatcher to manage the Carolina division, which was North and South Carolina. I came in there and I think when I started, I think we had 4 technicians. And then when I turned that over after a year and a half, we had grown it to 12. Just organization is my biggest thing. I'm sure both of you guys can relate when you hear that, we work in organized chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And so, just being able to stay organized helps keep the chaos at bay.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Kitchens are wild, man. And if you've never spent time in a busy kitchen during rush, you have no idea what's going on back there. People go to restaurants all the time and they get mad because their meal took a while or, it wasn't perfect. And I get that, but and they don't have any idea what's going on back there. It can be complete and utter chaos back there. It can be stuff on fire. It can be people on top of people. It can be something broke and they're waiting in line. It's just, you never
know. And again, my knowledge of the back of the house is extremely small, but I've seen pictures of some of these kitchens and they don't seem very efficient. And so, like you were talking about, people working on top of each other. I mean, down to one burner, down to the oven not working properly, the fryer, and the wait staff wears a lot of that on the chin, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're all out here fighting for the front of the house, the back of the house, and everything in between.
Yeah, that's why I rarely punish a server or waitress or waiter for like something going on in a restaurant, because most of the time it's out of their control and they just they get hosed by it. Like they're not the one back there cooking it. They're not, sometimes they do make mistakes, and most of the time it's not them that made the mistake and they get just hosed on it, man.
Yeah, it's really only them if they're not coming around to see you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, everything else is out of their control. I mean, they are just the middleman. And so plus, you don't ever want to make anybody mad in a restaurant. We've all seen goodness gracious, what's that movie?
Waiting or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's so wrong. People all the time always ask us, like, where should I eat? Where should I not eat? And I was like, I'm not playing this game, man. It's like, because I just whatever. If you've eaten there before, don't worry about it. Just
yeah. If you've eaten there before and you were satisfied, you'll be satisfied again more than likely. Yeah.
So, how long did you work there before you did your first ride along with a technician and think, what am I getting into?
So, I'd actually only done a few ride-alongs, but I guess it was probably 3 or 4 months into the job. I went, they actually took me all the way out from Montgomery, Alabama to Charlotte, North Carolina. I jumped in a truck and we went to a restaurant that was getting ready to reopen, and we had a punch list of things to do. And I got handed a flush valve and 2 wrenches and said, "Go replace this." While the other guy was working on the walk-ins door and the thermostats and things like that. And the next day I was on a rooftop swapping filters on 8 units. So it's wild. I don't care for heights. So being up on a roof was not my favorite thing in the world. But it definitely helped, obviously, a little more respect for what the technicians go through, and a little better understanding of some of the struggles they go through day to day, because we're all a team between the office and the field, and so whenever we can relate to each other, that helps us better work together.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in every dispatcher should ride with a technician, and it shouldn't be hand-picked jobs. It should be like a normal day. And I'm also a firm believer that technicians should sit with the dispatchers and answer phone calls from the customers losing their mind, and technicians crying they want to go home and trying to get out of work. So, I mean, you see it both ways to fully understand what's going on in that office and in those trucks.
Yeah, and before I got into the office work, I mean, I've been a technician in other trades. I mean, I cleaned pools, I cut grass. Days that would start, and I'm getting off at 3:00 in the afternoon, then you're working until 8:00 at night because something comes up. And the part that got me the worst was the cold. I went through a couple of winters of working outside too much, and I don't like being cold that much.
It can't get that cold down there.
It gets colder than I want it to. Look, it is 100 degrees heat index out here right now. I would rather go outside and work from sun up till sundown than spend 3 hours outside working when it is 30 degrees outside.
Yeah, I don't mind to a certain point, but once it gets to like below 10, I get kind of mad. I get kind of angry with the temperature. But yeah, it's been a wild summer here in Indiana too. We've heat indexed to 110, 112 degrees. It's been like 90 degrees a couple times. It's humid here. You go outside and you just can't breathe. You feel like someone's sitting on your chest. Like,
can't breathe.
I'm like, if I wanted to deal with this, I'd go live down in Tampa with Jason or something, man.
Bring it.
They don't have that in Tampa. They have beautiful weather year round.
Though they have humidity.
Yeah. No swamp butt here, man.
So how long?
Tent down. Go ahead.
How long were you in that dispatch role before you decided you were ready to try on something else?
So I was in that role for about a year and a half. And after my first full year, taking it from January to December, the leadership at Kimco saw something in the way that I managed, the day to day, and that flowed into the weeks, that flowed into the months. They asked me to kind of step in and help implement a little bit of that across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had a branch in the Carolinas, they had a branch in Georgia, and they had a branch in Alabama, and everybody just kind of did it the way they were trained and the way they found it. And again, nothing was wrong with it, but as we were continuing to grow, the biggest thing to help that growth was creating something that was scalable, across the board. And so, I worked with the leadership there to create that standard and that scalability.
Sweet. So I will have to put this up here. So Chris, HVACR videos is in California. He asked, "What is this thing called humidity?" Yeah, I'm a little jealous of you. If it wasn't for taxes and some other things, I'd probably come out there.
Oh my gosh,
but I don't want to deal with taxes,
dude! Just go take a shower and then get out of it and don't dry off. That's humidity.
That's a great way to put
Those
it.
are facts right there.
Yeah,
Put your clothes back on after you take a shower. Don't dry off. Put your clothes on and go walk around. That's humidity.
Yep, that's a great way to put it. It's funny. So that's cool. You just, kind of seen a need, and they were trying to grow, and you just work towards it. That's really cool to see. It just shows your drive and passion, not just to sit still or sit idle. You want to be more. You want to do more, for the industry. So you kind of went into that operations role. What was that like? I mean, were you just helping set up and run branches, or were you overseeing a lot of other branches, or what all did you do in that role?
So we didn't really get the chance to open any new branches, but the biggest thing was just working with each individual branch, making sure that they were efficient in the way that they were, setting technicians' routes, working to get their quotes together and turned around and things like that. Looking at work order counts and things like that to make sure that things weren't too old, and that things didn't get forgot, because a work order that comes in and doesn't have the highest priority, sometimes gets pushed a little bit further than some of the or some of the facilities would like.
Mm-hmm.
And making sure that you just have those checks and balances to go back and see those and say, hey, look, I know that this one may have came in as a priority 3, but it's a week later. That P3 is going to turn into a P1 before you know it, and you're going to have, Jason's going to be calling you. He's extra mad.
Extra.
Yeah. I heard some conversations today with some manufacturers and some facilities people from a chain we deal with today, and I was just like, oh boy. I was like, no, those are my service calls besides one, and that wasn't me. That was electricians needed a circuit breaker, so I can't be held accountable for that unit not running for 2 weeks. That was not my fault.
Yeah.
So I fully get that, man. Like you said though, it starts off as a P3, something minor, and kind of just put it on the back burner. And we don't do it on purpose. It's just other emergencies come along. In Jason's mind, hey, that was a week. I need my stuff running, in a timely manner. And it is what it is. Sometimes it happens, but we don't mean to. It just kind of sometimes stuff cracks or that kind of thing. So
no, because nobody wants to end up being on the other end of the line of Jason. At least that's what I've heard.
He's HR department, man. He's a voice of
HR. Oh, okay.
He's
a little bit. You definitely don't want to get on Jason's bad side then.
No, sir.
He's our voice of reason. We have a group chat, and me and Rich will just be going off, and Jason's like, "You guys can't say that. You guys can't do that." I was like, well, that's why we have a group chat, so I can do it in here and not
just a sounding board in there to keep it in there.
Yeah, so I don't get in trouble, so I don't get calls from people.
I honestly love it. I love it.
I don't get calls from managers or Heather at CFESA will be like, "Hey, Pat." So
Heather's gonna watch this?
No, I don't know if she will or not, but I've posted some things I've gotten in trouble, and she's called me. And she's like, "Hey, it's the best thing to do, Pat." And I've done a lot better. It's been a few years. I'm doing a lot better.
Good.
I've realized I should not post on Sunday mornings if I drank on Saturday night. That's generally when I get in trouble.
Or Saturday night.
Of course.
Yeah, that too. But Sunday morning, it seems like if I drink Saturday night, Sunday morning, I'm mad and I wake up violent and it just spews out on the internet and I get in trouble every single time. So most times Sunday mornings, like I'm not getting on Facebook, I'm not getting on LinkedIn, I'm not getting on Instagram. I just keep this phone away from me until I like rehydrate and change my attitude.
You know, Pat, I was thinking of an analogy the other day, just from all the years being in restaurants before I got on the facility side, where the restaurant, it used to be back in the day, the health department could walk in. So what the restaurants do now, they hire like an EcoSure. They pay a company to kind of act as the HR, as the health department, so they don't actually get in trouble by the health department. So that's what I consider myself in the group, in our little group chat we have. So HR in real life doesn't get you, I'll get you in the group chat.
There you go.
But I'm just not being paid for it.
But hey, and that goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? Your checks and balances and making sure that something doesn't get lost.
Yeah, gotta keep it tight.
Nice.
You know, we always ask technicians, you know, what would they tell someone wanting to get into the technician side of, you know, our industry? What would you tell someone like, hey, they're thinking about applying to be a dispatcher, some role in the office? What would you tell them about, you know, what they're going to experience, or, you know, hey, you know, this is why you should do it, or, you know?
Yeah, blue collar operations, if they want to get into that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best, you know, I think the best selling points about our industry is it's proven itself to be recession proof. Mm-hmm. You know, even through some of the hardest times, I mean, a lot of us were still rolling. You know, as long as restaurants are still open, at minimum, kitchen equipment is still going to need to be worked on. Mm-hmm. You know, so, and as long as we still need technicians in the field, we're still going to have people in the office to take care of it. And there's one thing I always tell anybody, you know, when we're looking to hire, I say, hey, look, I can't look you in the eyes and tell you the truth and tell you that this is a stress-free job. But, you know, if you're a little bit crazy like some of us are, and you enjoy working in some chaos and you can handle yourself in a stressful situation, you'll get a ton of fulfillment out of a career inside the office in this industry, because just the same as a technician in the field, no 2 days are the same. You know, it is extremely rare that 2 calls are the same. So, you know, you constantly, you know, as long as you have the drive, you constantly get to grow from new scenarios and learn how to handle it the next time something similar comes around.
Yeah, I will say, man, dispatchers have a hard job. Like I said earlier, you know, they're dealing with customers that are upset, you know, their piece of equipment's down, or, you know, someone's just out here and it's down again, or, you know, technicians trying to get out of work and technicians being grumpy. I asked my dispatcher one day, I have a great relationship with my dispatcher. I worked with her for 14 years now. I was like, do you go to therapy because of us? And she just laughed. She's like, no. She's like, no, I don't. I was like, that's good.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right there, you know, you talking about having a really good relationship with your dispatcher, that made a world of a difference for me. You know, knowing what guys need to be pushed, you know, what guys you have to kind of sit back on, and, you know, treating them like the humans they are, because just like I like to leave every afternoon, you know, to get home at a decent time, you know, technicians want to do the same. You know, they just understand that sometimes it doesn't always work out for them. So, you know, again, anything that you can do to make sure that everybody understands they're a person just like you are, and, you know, not just a tool in a van, you know, I feel like it goes a long way.
Yeah, that relationship can definitely make or break a technician or a dispatcher. You got to respect both ways. There's going to be some pushback. There's going to be some give. But for the most part, I do anything for my dispatcher. She's pretty much like a sister to me. I mean, she's I can go in there, I'll be in a good mood, a bad mood, and go in there, and she'll joke with me, put me in a good mood, or I'll be in a good mood and go in there, and she'll put me in a bad mood, but I still do anything for her.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let a customer yell at her either. I'll be like, oh, just put them. I'll go, let me go in there and see if they yell at me, please. Like, send me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, you said you've had the same dispatcher for 14 years. So, you know, either you her, the combination of the both of you, or something. I mean, somebody's doing something right.
Yeah, you got to treat, we get angry at each other, and this is coming from my days in service companies. I've had it out with my dispatchers, management, stuff like that. But that, for the most part, is internal family bickering and fighting and whatnot. You don't let anybody else do anything. You don't let anyone else talk trash or anything to your team, your family, your career family, and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I'll pick on my coworker and give them a hard time because I really do care and I want them to do better, or I want to want to help them out and be part of their journey and whatnot. Or dispatchers, they come at different levels, but nobody's going to pick on my family at work.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah. So, how'd you hear about CFESA and what drew you to the YPC?
So, 2 years ago, it was right before the conference in San Antonio. It was about a month ahead of time. One of my managers came up to me and he said, "Hey, on these dates, me and you were going to San Antonio to this conference." And that was the first thing I had ever heard of CFESA. And so I was like, okay. So, we flew out to San Antonio. That was my first conference. While we were there, CFESA has all of their committee meetings in person. And so, we attended the YPC committee meeting while we were there. And I was just drawn to that. I'm all for working together, even outside of my own business, because this is an extremely large market for work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's extremely hard for any one service company to manage any one city or metro area. So relationships that we can have with each other, and ways that we can make each other better. That's just what I saw going on in there.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a mix of service companies and manufacturers and distributors, and everybody's just got the common goal of growing the industry. And so I was all for it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my son to join it. He's 22 years old. He's wanting to be more involved, and he's got some goals he wants to do in the next few years. So I'm like, dude, join this. I said, it's all young people. Now, he'd probably be the youngest one in there at 22, but I said, it's all young professionals in there trying to grow and develop this industry, grow and develop each other. I said, it'd be a great place for you. I think he filled out the application, and I don't think he ever replied back to Olivia. So I'm going to hit him up when he comes back from vacation next week. Like, hey, get on this.
Yeah. Hey, look, and tell him to talk to me. I mean, the YPC got me a trip to England.
Yeah. That's very cool.
I got the chance, to go to the CETA conference in the UK because I joined the YPC, and I was nominated by management at my company to be a part of the scholarship application for that, or the sponsorship for that. And I was selected. So I mean, if I never would have thought I would have gotten the chance to go to the UK, much less through work, through an association that I joined. And so I got it. CFESA now holds a little bit of an extra special part in my heart now.
Yeah, so I've been on and off the training committee for a couple of years. I got on it for a while, and then I got off when I started doing this pretty big, just because I was trying to focus on this more, and I've got this pretty much dialed down. Besides booking guests, because I'm terrible about that, but everything else I could pretty much do on autopilot now. So I went back and I rejoined up the training committee, and I'm helping with the subcommittee for the big technician competition coming up next year.
Oh yeah, yep. And so we'll actually be hosting our region next year, and so Olivia was telling me about that, and I'm pretty excited. It's gonna be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. We've been working on it for about 6 months, and I couldn't say nothing, dude. And that's like my whole goal, is to grow this industry, get more people involved. And I think, a competition like this we're gonna have some pretty good prizes. We're working on some companies that get some, some tools and stuff donated. But
yeah,
it's gonna be an opportunity to show off and to, put this out there even more, what we do, and show off these individuals, these men and women that are gonna come in and run through their gauntlet and do the test. And, someone's going to take home some belts at the end of this and some money and some prizes. That's going to be a lot of good exposure for our industry. And
yeah,
me keeping my mouth quiet, because I don't think I told my group chat about it. I think I may have mentioned it one or two times. I was pretty much sworn to secrecy, but
I don't remember you saying anything.
Yeah, no.
I kept it pretty well tight-lipped, which is hard for me to do because I'll tell everybody everything. So, but I'm really excited for this. It's going to be a fun time, and you get to put your skills, up against other people in your region. If you win your region, you're going to get to come down to CFESA HQ in the fall, and we're going to have a crown the top of each category. It's a hot side and a cold side, and there's going to be a CFESA technician and a master technician bracket in each side, and we're going to have a winner for each one. They're going to take home the prizes, so it's cool.
Nice.
Is there a facilities manager section? Because I can go in there and whoop some butt, man.
Yeah. What about dispatchers?
There's some soft skill stuff to it, but no, we don't have anything for dispatchers. Maybe we need to look something up.
Dispatch competition. How many calls can you take down?
That's funny. Yeah. Let's technicians grade you on how well you got the complaints, you got the contact information, you scheduled it properly. You didn't send me to McDonald's drive-through cooler that hangs on the wall during lunch like I had done.
That'd be a great project management competition.
Dude, it happened when I first started here. I was new here, so I didn't push back, and my dispatcher's like, well, if he ain't gonna push back, I'm gonna do it. She sent me out to McDonald's wall-hung cooler, where they keep the milks and stuff out on the drive-through. Like, she sent me out on one of those at lunchtime, and I was like, I can't do this. I was like, there's no way. She's like, just go and see. And I was like, you
dirty condenser.
Like, you already
was it a Frankie or an H&K?
I don't know.
With the sliding door with the milks and everything.
Yeah.
Above the register. Yeah, those are a pain in the butt.
Like, there's no way I can work on this thing during lunch. I'm like, no. So it is what it is. But yeah, CFESA does a lot of cool things. I always get on them a little bit because I was like, man, you guys don't put it out there enough what you guys do. Like, you guys need to put it out there more and more. Like, show off what you guys have to offer to the industry, to companies, to technicians. Like, you guys need to put that out there front and center.
Yeah, and one thing that we've been working on in the YPC is how to get that out a little bit better. Obviously you can post as much as you want across multiple platforms, but how do you guarantee that you're really getting your reach out there? And I know that Olivia has been working on a bunch of different stuff that we did with collaborations in the UK. Recently they've posted a couple of videos of what do you call this tool, to see what people call different hand tools and things like that. The cooking competition, two of those episodes have aired. I'm 1-1 and we're going into the last cook, so we'll have to see what happens there. Jason, you should watch that. If I have a problem with my career here, I may have a future career in the kitchen if need be. And then let's see, we also did another piece that Olivia's working on of UK versus US snacks, where I unfortunately had to sit at a table and just try snacks and rate them. I don't know if you can tell how disappointed I am about trying snacks. I'm gonna have to give it to the UK. They got some really good snacks.
So we didn't win this time around?
I don't know.
He's still in India. I don't know. He's gonna wait till it airs. You're gonna get him in trouble.
No, I truly don't know who won that one. I wasn't keeping up with the rankings that everything was given. So no, I can't spill the beans on that one because I truly don't know.
So was it UK snacks versus American snacks? Because ours taste better because we have all those preservatives and colors and things.
You would think so, but theirs tasted better.
Oh, I bet.
No, yeah. So it was, they had 2 CETA members trying US snacks, and then the 2 CFESA members trying UK snacks. I think there was only like one thing that I gave a really low grade.
See, you better be glad I wasn't involved because I would have sent them like the hottest and nastiest stuff on purpose just to see what happened.
They did specifically ask for nothing spicy.
Oh, yeah. See,
so Olivia chose, and I had never even seen this before, but Doritos Sweet Heat Jack Link's barbecue or Jack Link's beef jerky.
Jack Link's is good.
Jack Link's is good.
Yeah.
I don't know if Jack Link's with Doritos sweet chili seasoning is good.
That's weird. I don't know.
Sweet chili, Cheetos. Yeah,
I love the
I'd give
sweet
it a
chili
whirl.
chips.
I'd give it a whirl just to try it.
We'll have to ask Olivia where she found it at and get you some sit down there. That's funny.
Yep.
So what'd you try then? What'd they send over here for you to try?
No, so we did this at the CETA conference.
Okay. So what'd you try over there then?
So my favorite thing was, it was called a Jaffa cake.
Okay.
It's like a little sponge cake with like a dollop of orange marmalade in the middle of it, covered in chocolate. It was fantastic.
You had me at cake, so
yeah.
That's funny.
Just a regular chocolate bar. Dude, they're just milk chocolate blows Hershey's out of the water. Yeah, I see your face, Jason.
Yeah, who let you back into the country, bro? What's the flavor? Because I love me some chocolate, so I need to try.
So if you can get Cadbury milk, it's a Milka, like milk bars, or there's even
I've had them. They're good.
Called, just a Milka bar. I liked those a lot more. They had a Funyun that was dill pickled flavored. Now that I was not for.
I've seen those here.
Yeah, I was not for that.
I liked them. I'm a pickle fanatic. Like I will eat a bag of dill pickle, like sunflower seeds, like just throw a handful in my mouth, just go on the road, spit them in a cup all day long. So
I like pickles. I don't like anything pickle flavored.
That's funny.
Yeah. Like I saw I think Sonic just came out with some massive like dill pickle burger. It has a dill pickle mayonnaise, like fried pickles, regular pickles, and you can pair it with a pickle slushy.
Yeah, so they've had the pickle slushy for years. It's like a secret menu item thing, but that I've never even got that daring because I mean it's cold and it's gonna be salty and I can just imagine my jaw locking up.
Yeah, the only time I'm drinking pickle juice is when I'm cramping.
Yeah. Yep.
Does that work?
Oh yeah, man.
So
like how fast?
I mean, it's nothing is extremely fast.
Okay.
But if you've got pickle juice, I would say it works better than a Gatorade because it's vinegar and salt.
Sodium, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So, you've had a busy time at CFESA in 2 short years, it sounds like. You spoke at a regional meeting. You co-hosted the annual conference. You even competed at the YC Cook-Off. So what got you out of your comfort zone the most?
Probably the first time speaking, just because it was the first time I had really gotten up in front of a crowd that large. That was at the CFESA annual last year. So the YPC, our segment, we did a little bit about networking and just how networking is so beneficial to our industry. But then we had a little fun with it, and we made everybody sit in groups, and we played bingo. And we just asked a bunch of random questions based on the number that we drew. And if anybody in your group could answer like yes, like this, I've done this before, you got to mark that off your bingo card. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, we had questions of, if you've been in the industry for more than 10 years, if this is your first CFESA conference, I think there was, if you have more than 5 chickens, just some random stuff like that too. And I will tell you, it was a lot larger of a hit than I thought it would have been.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up getting the chance to play 2 rounds. Zach Hampton and Griffin Littlefield helped me co-host all that. We had a great time.
Nice. I actually speak next week at the regional meeting in Addison. And
so man, I wanted to make that one.
I'm excited for it. It's my first time speaking outside of high school in front of a group. Now I do this all the time. This is no big deal. So
yeah,
it's actually been a goal of mine to start doing some, getting in front of people in the audience and speaking and stuff. And I'm really excited for that. And then hopefully one day I can do some other stuff. I got some stuff in mind I want to do. So eventually I want to be on a bigger stage. I want to be, at the actual conference one year talking about something. I want to get on. I want to do some teaching stuff for some larger format groups and stuff. So
Awesome,
just a start. So I'm excited for it. Had a meeting today about it. It's me and it's myself and Patrick Lewis from Partstown. We're just talking about building your brand on social media and like how to use it to to help push your brand. Or people. It's going to be an informative session where people can ask questions and we can help them get started if they have questions on what we do. And I'm really excited for it.
Well, if you're going, are you taking your boy with you and letting him go to the YPC symposium?
No. I tried to get him to go, but he just, I don't know. I'll get it broken to. He's on vacation this week, so he's going to have to work next week. So he pulled vacation last Monday. He put in for vacation for this week. I was like, oh, you're a dick.
Oh man, yeah.
It
the hottest week of the year so far.
No, he don't do refrigeration, so he don't care. He's like, cool. I'm a hot side guy.
Oh, okay.
I can do it. It's
nice.
No, I'm gonna get him on there. I'll give him a hard time. But yeah, I look forward. It's gonna be a good time. I'm actually gonna go up the day before, so I may stick my head into YPC and see what's going on. I was giving Olivia a hard time today. I was like, I found out about this YPC thing at like 39. And I was like, here I am, 43. I can't do nothing. And she always
yeah. So I believe they've got Steve Ormond coming back as one of the main speakers for the YPC symposium, and he actually spoke at our regional meeting this year, and he was very good. He held he kept your attention, which if you guys are anything like me, it's sitting there like classroom style. I can drift off a little bit, but Steve was really good at keeping my attention and keeping me engaged and really enthusiastic about what he's doing.
So I know you mentioned something about running for the board. Did you get your paperwork filled out? Because it's due tomorrow, right?
I did. No, yes, yeah. So
I got my intent filled out, and I've still got my questionnaire to work on. I gotta get filled out by tomorrow night at midnight. So I actually filled out an intent letter myself to try to run. I want to be a technician on the board. Now it's gonna be
nice.
It'd be a hard one to sell, but I gotta try it. That's another one of my goals. So I'm gonna try it every year I can. So it is what it is. I had to ask for make sure. I work for a ginormous company, and there's already some board members on there, so you're only allowed to have so many board members. But I think I'm safe. I think the other board members are in they're in what they call he's treasurers, but I mean I don't think there's anybody in the lower board like
just the board of directors.
I know. I think you can have someone in board of directors and then have somebody in a elected position elected position. So it is what it is. You can't. I mean, worst can happen to say no. I don't get voted in. So what? I tried, and that's a step. That's a step in the right direction. I see it. So,
but hey, you know what? You said one of your goals was to get up and speak at the CFESA conference, and running for the board, you'll get that opportunity too. So it's you can give it maybe like a half a check. On that box.
I'm gonna try to backdoor my way up there to talk. So
exactly.
No, I just I love what CFESA does for the industry. I love what they're doing for service companies and the training. I'm a trainer. I train refrigeration. I'm good friends with Dan and everybody there, and I love what they're doing for the industry and trying to grow it. And that's what I'm trying to do here. It's my goal here is just to grow it, and I just want to support whatever they can. So if I don't get elected, I don't get elected. But I threw my name out there. I'm going to try. I mean, I'm going to try if I can. So it is what it is. I would like to see if there's not a technician on the board. I think CFESA would probably do well to have maybe a couple of technician liaisons. To talk about stuff and stuff like that. So we'll see. I think I know a lot in the past, like they were scared of technicians talking to each other, and everybody's scared to lose technicians. But the way social media is today, dude, there's dozens of Facebook groups that are just for technicians out there talking to each other, and no one's poaching people. Like if you're a good technician, companies are taking care of you. There's no reason for you to leave. I mean,
if there's one thing that I've noticed, and just looking at the longevity of the technicians that we have, you really either have guys that are sticking with you because they love working with you,
Mm-hmm.
or you got guys that are just looking to jump from company to company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's you got guys that are there that have been there for 15 years, and then you've got your guys that have been there 5 to 10, and then the ones that are there for when they start getting in over a year, that's when you can start expecting them to stick around. It is one thing I've noticed.
Yeah. So, have you ever been involved in hiring of technicians in your roles there at Kimco and AmeriServe?
So I am not. Now, one of the guys that I share an office with, he is one of the recruiters.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he spends his day responding to applicants and, being that first phone call, setting up the interviews. Um, I wouldn't know where to start because, again, you know, I can judge you by your character as a person.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start talking about flux capacitors and the continuum transfunctioners, I'm out.
Dude, there are so many guys out there that they can talk their way out of anything, but they can't fix anything. Like
Yeah,
they can have a resume where they've had 20 jobs the last 10 years, and then they sell it like, oh, I'm just I haven't found my home, and they shine it up, man, and then all of a sudden you
yeah,
hire them, and you're like, well, I
I
know
was going to say that goes hand in hand with those people who like to jump ship often. Now, I don't have an issue with people jumping ship because, in all honesty, when you get in somewhere, it might not be a great fit for you. You are still providing a service. It is still an
yeah,
exchange for my service and your money, right? And if you put a year in somewhere, I always tell people honestly, especially in the beginning, no one's going to ever pay you as much to keep you as they did to get you. So if you don't know everyone's financial situation, but I've been some places. I put something like, for instance, I put some time in when I first started, like 3 whole years, and I got to the point where I was bored, and I was just like, you know what? I really
yeah,
want to do more. I'm in-house. I'm an in-house technician. I do want to find out what service companies are about. Um, Went somewhere else. It came with a raise, So sometimes you ask for a raise. You ask for a raise. You try to meet the expectations that yeah, the expectations, and you guys just don't match. And then if you need to move, you need to move. But there is a pattern of people who are a year here, a year here, a year here. You can explain your way out of having to make a couple jumps in a few years if you just didn't fit right. I've never
yeah,
left feeling like I didn't give my all and contribute and whatnot. But I've met with some people where they've jumped around so much and their BS and how much they're trying to bolster their resume matches how often they jump jobs, and those
yeah,
people, you can only take what they say with a grain of salt, and it's unfortunate, but it's an unfortunate pattern. But at the same time, I tell people, if you need to make a move, do what you got to do. Sometimes the only raise you can give is yourself.
yeah. And it's more of the guys that you see that have a different job every 6 months,
Yeah.
and they've had a different job every 6 months for the last 7 years. You know, you start putting in 1, 2, 3 years, and and it's not working. I mean, you know, I can definitely see that because that's kind of been up until this point. Where I'm at right now is the longest I've been with a company, and so I like what I do and I like the people I work with. So
Nice.
it definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean, there's days where I am, I don't like some of the things I do or deal with, but in the long run, I'm treated pretty well where I'm at. I get to do a lot of cool stuff where I'm at, and most of the times it's just me being me, causing my own problems. And Jason understands because he hears me complain. He's like, Jason, once again being the voice of reason, and he's like, gets me calmed down. But some days I just get fired up over dumb stuff, and you know how it is. You wake up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah, but
Those jumpers
you'll
cause
have
so
that
much
at any job you
problems.
work at.
Yeah.
The people who jump, they want to say they know this and they know that. And I swear I don't know if it's like, what do you call it when people have imposter syndrome? They feel like they're doing what they can do, and then they're like, hey, I'm gonna be figured out, and then they go somewhere else, and then it's like you can stick it out, but a lot of the people that like to jump around a lot, they cause a lot of problems. That, you know, they say they can do this and that, and then they are actually handed what they say they can handle, and the bed, and then they leave, and then, you know, those are the guys who park their van in the middle of the night, you know, and leave, drop their stuff off, and they always leave a trail of destruction half the time.
And the guy that's been with you for, you know, 5+ years has to go behind him and clean it up.
Yeah, but they're the ones who are accountable. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue is accountability. I won't get involved in that. But
would you post up there? Was that Adrian?
I hit the wrong thing. Adrian earlier said it was a Jason sighting.
I was on last week too. I'm on a roll. 2
well,
weeks in a row.
we had the technical difficulties last week. Remember?
Fair enough.
So if someone was wanting to get involved in CFESA and say they didn't want to do training, they didn't want to do anything else, and you know they fall in that age bracket for YPC, what would you tell them? So say if my son was here and he asked why should he join the YPC, what would you tell him?
I mean, his input's going to count. I mean, you know, in the YPC we have technicians. I think I know of at least 4 technicians that we have, or no 5 now, because Stuart just joined. So we're up to at least 5 technicians in the YPC. You know, it's going to help you. Number one, it give him more resources. You know, I'm not saying that where he works at doesn't provide him resources, but you know, it gives him additional resources to bounce things off of. You know, gives his input. You know, and I will say, you know, the YPC gives what you give.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're willing to come in and work with everybody, your voice is going to be heard, and you're going to get that chance. And you know, the YPC, we focus on a couple of different areas, and you know, we work we work with some of the other committees also to try to, you know, figure things out. And you know, one of the biggest things we're trying to figure out right now is, you know, how do we spread the word to these, you know, the younger generation that this is a job that you can make a career in. You know, whether you're a refrigeration guy or a hot side guy, you know, like this is just as lucrative to the tech life as, you know, becoming an electrician, becoming a plumber, you know. You know, we also do HVAC. So, you know, it really just it can open so many doors. You know, it doesn't require a degree. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't even really require that you go to a technical school. It just requires you to be open to being, you know, instructed on how to work on these different pieces of equipment.
Yeah,
I have an idea how you guys could promote that very well. Where are young people at? Where do we meet them at? Online.
Yeah,
so I think they should possibly consider making a YPC podcast.
Oh man.
In my opinion, and this is my opinion, I think it's few others. I think there should be a dozen industry-related blue-collar podcasts, whether it's food equipment, young, old, electrical, all that. We should all be talking about it. We should all be making videos and TikToks. You need to meet people where they are, despite their age. But when it comes to young people, if you want to find them where they're at, I promise you, if they're not turning wrenches, they're on their phone staring at it. You might as well be in that space and capturing some of that real estate, those eyeballs. If you want to really get it out there, be where they are.
I'm willing to help facilitate it. I'm too old to be on the YPC, but I'm willing to help facilitate, get it set up, and you know, help do that kind of stuff on the back end for you guys. So
yeah, and these kids love clout, man. They love all that. They want to flex. They want the clout. You know, they want to show off. Let's have a conversation on a podcast. Let's bring the video to the shop and let's start hitting torches.
I know several 19-year-old kids that are huge on. Oh, I'm still here. They're huge on social media just because of you know, they're 19 years old. They're in the trades. So there's no reason why, you know, we couldn't do the same thing for our industry. And that's why I think my son would shine. You know, he's 22 years old. He's bought a house at 19 or 20. He's got a brand new Bronco. He's engaged. He's got plenty of money in the bank. He has fun.
Yeah.
Vacation. He's on vacation on a fishing charter today, sending me pictures catching fish off the shore of Myrtle Beach. I mean, 22 years old.
Living it
life
up.
though, but you know what? Brought to you by what? That lifestyle was brought to you by what?
Yeah, this industry right here.
Exactly. So shit. If I was him, I would be, I'd have somebody. I'd post up a tripod while I'm fishing out there, talking about blue collar, baby. Because at the end of the day, I mean, even when you're on call, how often are you on call? I mean, even a smaller company, you're on call probably every third week. Where I went from having a menial job or two or three to make ends meet, and I was working around the clock, not home for birthdays and holidays and weekends and homework and things like that. When I got out of that and I got into the trades, I had a more balanced life. I worked a 9 to 5, and if I was on call and I had to be after, I did that when the time was right. But other than that, you're making in the trades, one job, you're making the job of 3 if it was, fast food or something like that. So yeah, you earn that work-life balance, but people don't know about it. People don't know what Pat's doing in the kitchen and what, how the food's brought to them because of people like you, yourself, and I. So I think it really, nobody wants to boast or, that's boasting and this and that, but you know what? People only know what they see. And if you don't put it out there, there's a lot more than just us getting dirty, crawling behind fryers and crawling up on roofs, pulling compressors. There's also us getting to go home, be with our family, be home for homework, go out on the weekend, go out on fishing charters, go do this, go do that, instead of working 2 or 3 jobs at minimum wage when you can work 1. So that's my thing.
I love it, dude. I'm gonna have to think on that and figure out how to make it happen, because I definitely think you're onto something, man.
It takes a village, brother.
I mean, it's super simple. You don't have to
have. It is simple, and it's not expensive.
You don't have to have big fancy. Like I got the big fancy microphone. Jason's got a
$100 microphone.
$100 microphone. That's all it is. And it sounds just as good as my big fancy setup. I mean, and I get that off of Amazon. Shipped it over there, or he bought that off Amazon. So it's not hard to do. And they actually have some equipment at HQ in Charlie's old office in there, because I was playing around with it because I recorded in there last time I was down teaching. I think it'd be great. I mean, I'm willing to help set it up. I don't want to be on it, but because I'm too old, I'm gonna keep throwing it in Olivia's face until I die. So get used to it. But
at least you're not older than Dan Reese, which they made the comment about 8 times at our regional that Dan Reese is older than CFESA.
Poor Dan. He didn't deserve that.
Oh my gosh. Every opportunity they got to, it got brought up.
I love the relationship Dan has with just everybody in the industry, and then especially in that office. Like Olivia is like his daughter, pretty much. He just gives her a hard time, and they just go back and forth, and it's a great relationship they have.
I mean,
it really is a great organization that doesn't.
Dan went to Olivia's dog's birthday party.
Yeah. Yep.
Say that again.
Dan went to Olivia's dog's birthday party.
That's awesome. I mean, that's like first world awesome, but that is awesome. I dig that.
Dude, Dan will do anything for anybody. He's just one of those guys, man. Like if you have a question, you can call him. If he doesn't know it, he knows who knows it. He sent guys to me like, I couldn't figure this out, but you work on this more. You've worked on this. He hasn't been in the field for a few years, and he sends people to me or other people, and it's just really cool to see how he interacts with people. If you ever get the chance to sit through one of Dan's classes, I highly suggest you do it. Like, I never personally sat through one of his classes, but I went. He was under the weather, and I went down and taught his class. But he started feeling better, so he started like working his way in. And I just found myself just like watching it all, like how he interacts and how he does it. I'm like, dude, like you have a gift for this, man. You really, truly do have a gift for like teaching these people, and the way everybody interacts with, even the young guys, 19, 20 years old, like how he interacts with them. And it's really cool to see.
That's awesome. Yeah. We've sent a handful of technicians up there to him this year, and I've gotten nothing but positive feedback.
I can speak to that. I went and did a week and a half over there for the gas, water, electric.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a blast. I learned a lot. And that was after about 4.5 years in the field.
And trade
So
school. And after
yeah,
school,
yeah, the trade school, 4 years of trade school, and then I did 3 years at freaking in-house tech, and then I did about a year in the service company, and then they sent me, and I was just like, okay, well, now I know how to do that. I don't have to stop match. It was to the point. I'll be honest. I don't mind sharing this, and I don't mind sharing this. I'm not embarrassed. Because we all learn at a different rate and whatnot.
Yeah.
You pick stuff up when you pick stuff up. And I'll be honest, when I started at Steak and Shake, despite going to school for those 4 years, 2 degrees and everything, I was kind of just let loose and I was really intimidated. So to be safe, a lot of things I dealt with, like infinity switches on a hot well, I would take photos of each wire underneath, and then I would take off each wire at a time and then just put it back. It was just repetitive. And when I went to that CFESA class, in that time I learned there, I actually learned a lot of the things about the wiring. It made complete sense because they broke it down. And I still have those printouts, and I've printed them out and I've given them to technicians, because where you can learn a bunch of advanced stuff, you could shoot past a bunch of basic stuff that you just never picked up. And I mean, again, taking that class, there was a lot of aha moments where I was just like, oh man, I didn't understand this, but I get it now. And it was under Dan Reese's tutelage for a week and a half. And he really broke it down and had the paperwork that broke it down for me. And I was just like, okay, not only did I learn something here, I'm going to be able to also teach that to other people and share it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Nice. So when you're not busy at Kimco, you're not busy, jet setting around the world with CFESA, you got a little hobby farm. Well, I call it a hobby farm. I'm not sure. It may be a little bigger than that. So you said you own some land. You got some animals. What do you have, and what are you doing with these animals, man?
So I think we have 12 horses.
Oh,
ooh, nice.
I think we have 7 or 8 goats, like 16 chickens, 2 wild toddlers, dogs. We just got a cat last Friday. My wife found it in the woods.
Sure, she did. You fell for that?
Well, I will say, we were sitting inside the house and we were looking out the windows, and the horses, they were all just like staring in one direction.
Okay.
And it's not very common, right? So they're like, something's going on.
Yeah.
And so my wife disappears, and then I get a text message. She says, "Can you bring me a can of tuna from the pantry?" I'm like, what is going on? And I walk out there, and she's like shooing me away. She's like, stop. And she comes and gets the tuna. She's like, I found a cat. The next thing I know, 10 minutes later, that cat is in a kennel, and now it's on the front porch, pregnant. Should be having babies soon. So we've got a cat, and we'll have kittens. Yeah,
you will have cats real fast. It's going from singular.
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of barn cats already, but we just added a new one.
Okay, so
one of those barn cats, like, I'm the pappy, unless that's, I don't know.
No.
I'm the pappy.
I the daddy of that boy, boss.
I show him the gun.
It's a great movie.
Yes.
We make sure to spay and neuter most of the animals around here, unless they get the privilege to continue to reproduce. We just got 2 little bucklings for our goat mixture, so that we can start having some baby goats. Over the last 5 years, we've had 2 horses born out here.
Nice.
Yep. And so my wife, growing up, she was big into horses, being rodeo drill team, reined cow horses. And then, nice. As she got older, she actually started training horses for other people. And so, that's what she did for years, up until about 2 or 3 years ago. And she is now full-time super mom, gardener, everything. Yeah, couldn't do it without her.
Nice. So what's harder?
I've got like 3.
Good.
Oh no! I was gonna say I've got like 3 raised beds out my front yard, a small in-ground garden. We got. She loves to can, so we've got plum jam, peach jam, pear butter, salsa. She's making pickles. Yeah, man. We've got a pretty awesome life out here.
Dude, that
And the
sounds
boys
like
are into
an awesome life.
yeah, and the boys are into all of it.
I love that.
You know, I've got a 5-year-old that's assisted in goat births when he was like 3 years old. So
I love me a trad dad.
So what's harder, wrangling the farm animals or wrangling technicians?
Oh, that's a tough one. The animals, I can be a little more aggressive with at times.
Yeah, they don't call HR on you.
Yeah.
Well, the animals will kick you back.
I mean, they can, but as long as you're really paying attention to them, you know, you'll make sure to keep yourself out of those positions.
So
Yeah.
I've known some technicians that bite and kick too, though. So you got to watch out.
But the goats don't talk back. They just talk when they're hungry. All you have to do is throw them some food, and they'll be quiet.
Do you have any those goats that scream or anything like that? Because I can't get enough of the screaming goats and the ones that like they faint. Yeah. I love those. They're just the cutest thing. Like I've lived like my house. I have a single house, pretty good sized house, but my lot that I live on at HOA is like 5,500 square feet. If I could have a whole farm on my patch of pavers back there, I would, but I can't. My wife won't let me.
That's funny.
Yeah, we've got 40 acres that we share with my wife's parents. Nice. So you know, Jason, you said it earlier, it takes a village, and that 100%. Is 100% the truth of how it goes out here.
No, his signals.
Maybe I'll stop getting all that.
Let's get into that time, Pat.
Yeah, let's get to that time. Anyways, we're over an hour. Your phone's cutting out and being terrible.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're all right. You're
good.
It's been fun. I mean, we still got several questions to go, and we can do this again another time, catch it back up. But
we'll have a part 2.
Yeah, part 2. Everyone's always looking back for part 2.
But line them back up.
Exactly. So we're going to go ahead and end this now. But if someone wants to get a hold of you and find out more about Cody Robinson and what you do for the industry in CFESA, where can they find you at?
Yeah, I'm really just on LinkedIn. I'm not too big into all the social media platforms. And you know, outside of that, you know, you can shoot me an email, because even though I'm young, I'm an 80-year-old man on the inside. And I think the more that you get to know me, the more you'll understand. I am just an old man in a young man's body.
Soul. Fair enough.
That's right.
You know, Jason and Rich and myself, we're all firm believers in LinkedIn, especially, you know, Jason being professional. I mean, we're all professionals, but Jason's in a different role now. And LinkedIn has a huge following. People do really well on there, and our industry is really well represented. So if you're not on LinkedIn, you're in this industry and you're trying to grow, you're trying to meet other technicians, you're trying to meet other business owners, you're trying to interact and build relationships with manufacturers, you really need to be on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you're really doing yourself a disservice by not doing that.
But yeah, you also pay attention to what you post on there too.
Well, just
on LinkedIn.
That medicine, though.
Yeah, no, I've actually seen a ton of Rich's stuff recently. I don't know how, you know, I apparently he is all a part of my algorithm for LinkedIn. But yeah, no, I try to be active on it. I'm not the best at being active most of the time. But you know, trying to find ways to do better, just to, you know, again, try to spread the word for this industry, because, you know, we all see the needs that we have day to day.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the technician shortages, equipment problems. You know, there's more and more restaurants being built every single day. More and more technicians aging out, not enough coming in. We're all just trying to grow it. We'll get there.
Exactly.
We'll get there, and if you're good, you're going to make some money. I'll tell you that right now.
That's right.
So, Jason, you got anything for us?
No, I'm good, man. I said my piece. I appreciate you coming on, Cody. You're You're a great dude, man. What you're doing for the young professionals, what you're doing for the industry, what you're doing for your family. Love it. Love it all, man. Keep it doing what you're doing, man. God's work.
I appreciate it, guys. I definitely enjoyed the time, and definitely would love to get back on here another time. I'll
Absolutely.
make sure I do better and figure out a better internet connection, though.
Yeah, maybe we'll have something figured out with this YPC podcast by then, Olivia.
Yeah. And then we'll start doing collaborations.
Yeah.
Have we had Olivia on the show? Because you talk about her a lot.
I try to get her on. She's super shy, dude.
She's practically on the show with you, man.
I know. Well, she wants to do. I'm gonna do one in person with her when I go down and teach in September. So I'm going down and teach refrigeration, and we're going
like pre-recorded. That's good. That's comfortable.
Yeah, pre-recorded. And we can just hang out. So I'm gonna do something with her down there, and maybe see if I can do something with Dan when I go down there and teach refrigeration in September. So, but Cody, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Awesome.
And I'm gonna tag your LinkedIn and all the posts that lead up to this, and on the actual audio version, so people can find you on there and connect. And maybe we'll get you some work. Maybe we'll make some connections for you out there, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
Y'all do the same, guys.
If you guys would, please consider subscribing, rating, and reviewing the podcast. It really helps us grow and helps us know which direction to move in. Also, if you have any suggestions for guests, please email me at commercialkitchenchronicles@gmail.com. Or if you want to be a guest, email me. Love to have you guys on. Thanks a lot. See you next week.